Today is Saturday, December 8th, 2018. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor David versus Goliath, Week 11.
Yeah, we're almost there at the end.
Yeah.
After this, there'll only be, 2 more podcasts, or 4 more podcasts, rather, and then we'll be done. 2 more shows. Yeah, so this was interesting leading up to the penultimate episode. Definitely wasn't a sleeper as far as I'm concerned, but I'm curious to check in with the other fans and see what they're thinking about this episode and what they made of Gabby's play and her plan and her exit.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
First up, we got Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. Oh, I gotta let out a great big woo! What an extraordinary season. Na 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 na, na 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 na, hey, 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 goodbye. Although I gotta be honest, I'm happy and sad to see Gabby go. Happy because I don't have to hear her, why did you say this is hard and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I'm sad because she came out swinging and she ended up playing the game and she tried to get rid of the biggest threat, which was Christian. But I just think it was too late as Christian outsmarted her and everyone else with his idol play and she was sent home. Even Davey voted for Christian, which surprised me a little bit. But it's anyone's game now. And I gotta give credit to Angelina and Mike for voting out Gabby when they split the votes. Because, see, then it would have easily probably just been Allison that went. That was a smart plan B there. But I'm wondering if Nick knew Gabby was going, even though Christian was the one, even though Nick voted for Christian. But I think he did, too. But what a great episode, though. And I love the loved ones there. Look like even Jeff Probst was choking up there. Did you notice when, I don't know if it's when I think Allison's loved one came out, I think he turned his head there from the camera, almost like he was going to break down there. But Probst has said how emotional that is. That was awesome, too. Some epic challenges. Great on Cara for winning the immunity there, but I don't think she can win. Not enough story arc. Same thing with Allison, too. I think right now Nick has a chance. Angelina, I think you might be right, Stacey. She's still probably a GOAT. I think it's going to be between Nick and Mike, to be honest with you, who could win the game. And obviously Christian, but I don't think Christian's going to last long unless he does what Ben did a few seasons ago and keeps finding idols and all that. But what a great season, guys. I'm going to have to watch Gabby's Ponderosa. You guys think she'll be a bit of juror? She went out pretty happy to me, just like Kyle did. Dan, I think, is still the only bitter person to me on the jury. We'll see. Looking forward to these extra clips, guys, to see what we might have missed and all that. Take care. Woo.
Whoa. All right. Thanks, Pete. What do you think? Is Gabby going to be bitter? What's your assessment after watching her Ponderosa video?
I wouldn't think so.
Seems unlikely, right? She was very introspective, and as she probably almost always is, given her description of herself. And she seemed happy with what she gained from the experience. So she, just like everyone else, wanted to do better for her and her family and loved ones. But she doesn't seem like she's in the same frame of mind as someone like Dan is.
Well, and sometimes it's like they're almost expected, they think at least, to be stern or ask hard questions or, sound a little bitter, whether they really are or not. I think.
That seems like it would be going against character for Gabby, though, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. She'd have to try really hard. Not that she couldn't do it. She's definitely got the drama girl thing down. So, but she doesn't seem to be someone who's hanging on to it the way Dan is. Carl was given a pretty sour face coming in too, so I'm still not sure, and I'm not sure those two won't whip each other up into a frenzy before going into sit on the jury.
Who?
Carl and Dan.
Oh, Carl and Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe.
Probably depends on Carl how happy he is, how many drinks he has. If he holds back, he might
Yeah.
come in angry.
Yeah, John and Elizabeth both seem very chill, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't
Alec
expect
too.
that from them at all. Yeah,
Right.
Alec too.
And not only did Nick know about the vote going Gabby's way, it was his idea, Pete. You probably come across that by now because you're always good about getting your feedback in super early. But the whole plan for throwing a couple of votes Gabby's way via Angelina and Mike was Nick's idea. So he
Yeah.
definitely knew about it and he came up with it. So if someone should get the credit, I would think him, even though Mike and Angelina are the ones who followed through on it to make it real.
Yeah, but they talk about it in the extra clips that, everybody was in on it that was voting, trying to get Christian. They were in on the split vote.
Yep. Yeah, I guess that's probably the one thing from Gabby's extra videos. She just seemed to have a sense that there was a problem that day for her. Too bad she didn't suss it out a little more, I guess. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got an email from Nathan in Portsmouth, Virginia. Hello, Joanne, Stacy, and Survivor fans. I think this is one of the most straightforward episodes we've had in a while. That is saying a lot about this season since we had an idol played correctly and some great gameplay. Here are a few of my thoughts from this week. Perhaps it was just me, but the loved one's visit didn't seem as emotional as some seasons. Yeah, that's probably true. It didn't seem as charged. Yeah, some of the people coming out who weren't much into public displays of affection didn't, they kind of took the wind out of the emotional part of it, right? Yeah.
Seemed to.
Yeah. It's not a good or bad thing, but this visit just seemed kind of bland. I didn't even cry this time. I did laugh, though, when Angelina was telling how she gave up her chance at immunity to get rice for the tribe. I'm interested to hear what others thought because it might have just been me, but I found it a little boring this year. I don't know about boring. I enjoyed seeing the
didn't find it boring.
family members, but it wasn't as charged up. I'll give you that for sure. I give kudos to Gabby for trying to make the move she did this week. I think pulling that off would have really helped her game. I'm not sure she would win even if she had gotten Christian out this week, but I think it was her best option and a good move. Sometimes things just don't work out, but at least she went out holding her head up high, knowing she did what she thought was needed to win. I don't know if it will make any difference since the tribal lines are still blurred, but I find it interesting that the Davids are now behind in the numbers. I also can't help but wonder if Christian does somehow make it to the end if the Davids on the jury won't hold it against him. That's interesting. They worked so hard and so well together in order to get the numbers on the side of the Davids, but Christian gave it back when he voted out Carl. He had to vote out Gabby because Gabby was gunning for him. Actually, he cast his vote for Allison. But I see a very different scenario if Christian hadn't decided to go for Carl either. I'm still so lost on who I think might win. I really have no clue. I suppose that's part of what is making it a great season. Yeah.
True.
Absolutely. One thing not related to this week's episode in particular, but still has me thinking, is about the Ponderosa videos. I started watching these a few weeks ago for the first time ever. Man, you've been missing out.
Yeah.
I always knew that the voted out players would be talking to each other, but actually seeing this in the Ponderosa videos seems to add another element to the game that we don't hear a lot about. They influence each other dramatically in some seasons. The players voted out will be sharing their opinions and points of view on what happened at camp with those who were not there. This has to affect the thinking of those voting for the final survivor. Perhaps it's just me, but it made me think of a whole nother level of gameplay. It's such a complicated game, and I suppose that is what makes it so great. Yep, absolutely. Thanks for all you do, Joanne and Stacy. I'm really looking forward to the last few episodes and hearing from both of you and everyone else in the feedback shows. Talk to you next week. Thanks, Nathan. Good job. Next up, got a call from Sophie.
Hi Survivor fans and Joanne and Stacey. Welcome back, Joanne. I don't know if you heard last week's episode, but Stacey did a great job and he held the fort and the show's still running. So
Thanks.
well done, Stacey, and welcome back, Joanne. Okay,
Thanks,
it was a
Sophie.
fantastic episode. I enjoyed the loved ones visit. It was, yes, a better challenge than last time. However, I think this is the first time I haven't got emotional seeing the parents and loved ones visiting, and I don't know why. I think they were really, with the music, sort of trying to force some emotion and lingering on Christian's reunion with his partner. But I don't know, it felt kind of strange. And my husband was saying that is not a challenge I would like to win, because I would hate to have any sort of food on such a rocky boat that they were on. Yeah, my husband just kept on saying, I don't know how they're eating all that food. I don't know how they're eating it. Oh, so his stomach was turning just watching it. I am loving Davey. I think Christian did, he obviously got wind of Gabby's plan, and that was Davey, my Ultimate Survivor player. So well done, Davey. I also think Davey and Cara are just quite adorable, and I think they'd make such a cute couple. They both have really great smiles and game awareness as well. Now, Angelina, she's turning into a bit of a one-trick pony, and she just is trying to rely on her rice heroics like way too much, bringing it up to her mum, and it's just so annoying. Even my kids noticed that she kept on talking about that. Now, Gabby, bitterness or jealousy, I don't know. But she did seem like some of the episode, like she was sucking on a lemon, like she seemed sort of, that she was a little bit bitter towards Christian. I think there was at least 1% jealousy. At least now she'll be sitting on the jury, and at least now she believes in true love. And also on the jury, she can explain things to Dan at Tribal Council, because he seems to be sometimes getting confused and asking what's going on and stuff. I see them next week still aiming their votes at Christian now that he hasn't got an idol. But I just can't understand why Nick's name is coming up so much. So maybe Christian wins immunity next week, or maybe Nick says or does something below the belt which causes everyone to sort of turn on him. Seems kind of strange, that shift they're showing for next week. If I had it my way, I think next week I would definitely want Mike, Angela or Alison gone. Don't think we'll be that lucky though. Apart from that, I just wanted to mention that I got all my points. I had Gabby going home, and I got it right. I've got 46 out of 49 points now. I'm so glad that Gabby's gone. She totally deserved it. Yes, we were actually cheering, and it was a good episode. It was really good, and welcome all new people. Please keep calling, because I listened in for like a year until I got the courage to call. And believe it or not, each week it's a huge thing for me to call. I get like anxiety and stuff. But I try to make the effort. So have a great week. Have a great weekend. Stay warm, everybody. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Sophie. We're so glad that you chose to make that effort, too. Thank you. Good job. Next up, got an email from Mike in Omaha.
Happy December to Joanne, Stacy, and all listeners and fans of the podcast. As someone who was never a fan of Gabby, I found myself disappointed in seeing her go. I believe that has a lot to do with the fact that there are players I really can't stand far more than Gabriella left in the game. And moreover, players I think are set up to get to the end. I haven't been drinking the Christian Kool-Aid from the beginning. He clearly loves all the attention he receives, and that rubs me the wrong way. The way he acted like he was taking the temperature of the room at Tribal Council when there was no way he wasn't going to use it. That kind of stuff annoys me intensely. I would almost prefer Christian to win in a way, because then maybe we won't see him on some returnee season within the year. Ugh. The fact that Christian has been saved twice already by hidden immunity idols has me again longing for the olden days when your social game or immunity had to save your bacon. No hidden idols. Move over, Alina. The real 100% grade A dirt squirrel is Angelina. I think she's a no-vote getting finalist at this point, which kills my soul a little bit. She is occasionally entertaining, but only as a villainess.
She is entertaining as a villainess, huh?
She is.
She's a good one, and it's not her intention, so that's why she's all the better at it.
Then there's Mr. Schneebly himself, Mike White. I guess he's just going to waltz to the end, or he's actually playing a decent game. I find him more palatable than Christian or Angelina, but all things considered, that's not saying a whole lot. I like I think these players need to realize that if Mike gets to the end, he might get some votes or even win. If I were a juror, I think I could be swayed. Allison, Davy, Kara, and Nick. I love them all and desperately wish they would somehow miraculously become the final four. What's worse is I could actually see it happening, just that I know down deep that it won't happen. I crave one of these four to win so bad it almost hurts. What I want for Christmas is for Allison, Nick, Davy, or even Kara to win Survivor. David versus Goliath. I was happy to correctly predict Dan and Alec leaving, but they're the only vote out points I've received this season in JSFL. This week I predicted Kara going, so clearly it was a flash of genius, and only that, a flash. If I had to predict who is leaving next, I'll say Allison or Kara. I hope all the listeners, Stacy and Joanne, are having an excellent holiday season. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, I hope you're having a great holiday season, too. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Slappy. Slappy McGee is back.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. This is Slappy McGee calling you from my tour. Still touring around, currently in the Boston area. As a matter of fact, I'm so close to Boston right now, I can hear one of Pete's woos from here. I thought it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it, although it did make me pretty tense because I thought they were going to go after Christian, and Christian's my fave. You were asking if Gabby was jealous. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious. She was 1,000% jealous. The editing made it, more so probably, but every single thing that she did was based on being spurned, being jealous. She saw the girlfriend and boom, claws came out and she was ready to let him go. Nothing is worse than a woman scorned, as it were. She was 100% jealous. I still think Angelina is the worst. She did everything to the camera. She's playing it up. She is so fakety fake. It's not even funny. She might be a nice person, but she is the worst. And things don't go her way. She just pouts. Speaking of pouting, oh, Nick, what a big old baby that guy is. Good gosh. You never really saw it until this episode, but he is a big old baby in this. It just drove me crazy. I really loved Davey in the episode. Davey was probably, he's become one of my faves. I really loved him. Seeing his mom was awesome as well. It really kind of brought out the boy in him. And it was kind of the lovable kid and collecting things like, hey, Mom, I got an octopus. That was funny. So I like Davey a whole lot. And then we get to the final tribal council. Oh my God. First of all, that peanut gallery of all the jurors sitting there going, oh man, that guy is so smart. When they blew their minds how smart Christian was, and they're just sitting around amazed at it. I was laughing at that. And then Christian, oh my God, he's like, they said he was sitting there and he looked at him and he poker faced him. He just looked at him. Yeah, I'm going to use it. Dude, that was awesome. It was super gangster. I mean, this is the episode that David turned into a Goliath because, oh my God, Christian turned into a straight up gangster Goliath. Poker faced him with the idol. And so much so that as Gabby was leaving, she was apologizing to Christian. I mean, she just got voted out. And she's apologizing to Christian as she's leaving. I mean, you know that you're a gangster when people are apologizing to you when they're hurt. Oh my gosh. So I was laughing so much. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks to guys for a great show and all the listener feedback. I can't wait to hear all everyone else says. Sorry I haven't chimed in much this year, but you guys are great to listen to. So thanks so much. See you later. Slappy out.
All right. Great to have you back, Slappy. Good job. Next up, we got an email from Tina in Virginia. Hello, Joanne and Stacy. This is Gabby writing in. I thought I should write in and explain myself. I guess I didn't do that setup justice, did I? First, let's discuss the elephant on the island. Yes, I do like crying. I like tissues. I like tears. I like the sniffles that come with a good cry, and mostly I like a shoulder to cry on. And yes, I may have a screechy whine, but my mom says it's endearing. I like that. That's good. And anyway, my crying was planned and strategic to make me more likable because, as you know, men love a woman who cries a lot and has a high-pitched whine to go along with the crying. As for betraying Christian, I can't understand why I get all the criticism. He betrayed me first. I thought he liked me, and then the other woman, Emily, showed up. She showed up and messed up our wonderful life. Christian and I had a special relationship, a special bond, until he betrayed me first with that woman, Emily. People are calling me a scorned woman. I am not a scorned woman. All I'm saying is that Christian led me to believe that I was his number one, and then all of a sudden I was shocked when that other woman showed up. So I planned my revenge. If I could not have him, then he needed to be off the island. Good riddance. What does Emily have that I don't have? I am smarter, I am more loyal, and I am more attractive. This should be a slam dunk choice. We could have been Mr. and Mrs. Slamtown, had little Slamtonians together, and lived happily ever after. But let me say again, I am not a scorned woman. I feel a cry coming on, and I can whine for hours on this topic, but I better move on. I would like to end on a positive note. I will remember all the good times we shared, the blind sides, how he comforted me, how we laughed together, how we shared a coconut, and most importantly, how we schemed together. Yes, there were signs that he would betray me with another woman, like when he joined the brochachos without me, when he told me he had a girlfriend, but all I can say is that I did not see this coming. I feel another cry coming on, so I plan to binge watch 20 episodes of Snapped to get my head in the right place. All the best from Gabby, a.k.a. Tina. Thanks, Tina. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Shea.
Hey guys, it's Shea. I am on vacation in Florida to take my 4-year-old grandson to Walt Disney for his birthday. We have saved for a while for this trip, and we're hoping it's going to be grand. We did watch Survivor. I have not listened to the feedback show yet. I've been really busy. As a matter of fact, somebody could bust in this room and completely interrupt this conversation any minute, so I'll hurry. All I can say about the show is Gabby got what was coming to her. Angel, she still thinks she runs the show. She really does. I don't know how many times people have to show her she's not, but she really does think she is. And I thought it was so great that Davey gave Christian a heads up. I mean, I really didn't expect that after what happened with Carl, but he did, and I was so glad. And I loved at Tribal Council, after he played his idol, how Gabby sat there and kept trying to kiss his butt, saying, "You're so smart, you're so smart," because she was really hoping when they went back to camp that he wouldn't be mad at her for turning on him. But what she didn't know is they split the votes and she wouldn't be going back to camp. So I loved that. I think that was my favorite blindside of the season, really. Wish me luck. Disney's always fun, but it's also big, and 4 years old is, well, 4 years old. So just wish me luck, and I hope everybody loved the show as much as I did, and I will be looking forward to listening to both shows on my way home for a little solace. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.
All right, thank you, Shay. Good luck. We hope you have a fun adventure.
Yeah, have a blast.
Make some memories there. Next up, we got an email from Boston Mart.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Wonderful to have you back, Joanne. Thank you very much, Mark. Prayer said for your brother and your family. Thank you again. My take on Gabby, she said in her exit interviews that she felt the ending sneaking up on her and that she couldn't be next to Christian. I agree this is accurate, but what made her realize this? I submit that it was watching Christian with his girlfriend Emily. I don't think Gabby was jealous, but that Emily was such a pile of nerdy nerves that she saw herself in her. Mm-hmm. Emily and Christian have an incredibly awkward relationship for me to view. It may work for them, but as a viewer, I needed to endure watching it. She was enormously uncomfortable and confused, perhaps by the beard, and he is comforting her and can't even hug her. He went immediately into caretaker of the awkwardness, which is one of the things that has made Christian endearing. Gabby observed all that, and my premise is that she saw her own awkwardness and dependence upon Christian, and she woke up. From that moment on, she was determined to be her own woman. Waking up was good for her game and probably for her own growing up in life, but she was drunk with her own godmother power after dethroning Carl, and she could not stop and think about the timing of things, such as flushing his idol and getting a David advantage first. After her play didn't work, I was glad she got voted out. It was her time to go. That's my observation of it, and I will be interested to hear other takes. All right. Thanks, Boston Mart.
Yeah, enjoyed that.
Like that.
Next up, we got a call from Victoria, but this one it's a good example of what can sometimes happen with the voicemail. It's the most convenient and easy to use, but every once in a while it drops out on you, and unfortunately, just shy of a minute in, it dropped out. But there was a little bit here from Victoria I wanted to share with everyone.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey. Hi, Survivor Superfans. This is Victoria from Maryland. So I am super elated. Yay! I'm so happy that Gabby is gone. I was not a fan of hers. I was actually surprised how many people weren't a fan of hers because it just seemed like people were really, comforting when it came to her gameplay. So I was happy to see that I was not the only one on Twitter that was not a fan of hers. I thought that she was very manipulative. I felt like she just manipulated Christian the whole entire time. I felt like just like Natalie and just like both Natalies, actually. Natalie.
Well, and there we go.
Aw.
Yeah, and unfortunately we didn't get any more. But, yeah, so Victoria was surprised about the backlash against Gabby, but actually that was pretty big. It's pretty big and it's pretty bitter. There's a lot of people being mean towards Gabby there, not just talking about how her crying and whining didn't go over well with them, but they were pretty vicious against her. So she's weathering a bit of a storm right now in social media.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I didn't like the whining either, but, I don't hold anything against her.
Yeah, it's
That's
not like you're
just
going to go
part
out
of her
of your way
personality.
to spend energy attacking her, which
Yeah.
a lot of people are doing that evidently. And that's not what Victoria was talking about. She was just saying in general that not everyone was pro-Gabby, I guess, and that surprised her because she had seen a lot of support too. All right, thanks, Victoria. Better luck next time. Next up, we got an email from Rashmi in Perth. Dear Joanne and Stacey and all my Survivor fans, I've been thoroughly enjoying this season. However, I haven't been very regular with sending in my feedback. No, you haven't, Rashmi. I was away for 3 weeks, so had to catch up when I got back. It was sad to see the Davids squander their majority by getting rid of Carl. Not a smart move on the part of Christian to listen to Gabby, and Gabby got her just rewards by getting booted off. In my opinion, Christian's not going to be in this game for long. Allison is most probably going to end up as the fourth person after losing the fire-making challenge to Angelina. Why do we see her making fire? Losing in spite of knowing how to start the fire? Or I may be all wrong. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mike and Angelina in the final three with Nick. Nick seems to be getting a winner's edit. I am not great at predicting. So far, I've gotten only 2 vote-outs correct and have no USB. Anyway, I'm happy with anyone winning, even Angelina. She's gotten a bad edit. I remember Sophie Clark was not very likable in her season. I wonder if Kara is going to be invited to the reunion. As far as we know, she is. Holiday season is nearly here, but every day is a holiday for me. Haha, keep warm, everyone, while we down under enjoy the sun and warm days. Cheers. Thanks, Rashmi.
And her retirement.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we got a call from Nicola-n-Jackson.
Hello, all our fellow Survivor fans. This is Nicola
and Jackson.
And Jackson. He's back. Evening here in the bluegrass. Pretty chilly. We just got done watching.
We just watched the episode of Survivor. How lovely they got the water on their heads. I don't know why they got to see their family, and that was awful cool. So
when you're on Survivor, who are you going to pick to come see you, me or your mother?
Nina!
You're going to pick me? Yay! Shh, we won't tell her. So we watched, and was it another great episode?
How do you guys set up challenges when they're hard to set up?
Oh, well, they are hard to set up.
Okay.
Maybe I'll show you some videos of the guys who actually build the challenges. They have some of those on YouTube. You can watch them, and so you can see how they build them. So we enjoyed the episode. Did not enjoy Angelina bragging about her sitting out to her mother. That was kind of fake. The water on the head challenge was good. I wonder if they added in the moving the feet back as a secondary thing after the endurance challenge went so long last week. Because I think we've seen that kind of thing before where they just had to hold the stick up there and hold the balance it so the water didn't fall. But I don't remember them having to move before. So maybe after the epic challenge last week, they decided to go ahead and put those extra steps in so it wouldn't last so long. Anyhow, I guess that's about it. We're going to get off of here. It's good to have you back, Joanne. Hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend. Hope everybody's getting ready for the holidays.
It's Christmas Bear.
You've got basketball tomorrow.
And I'm Christmas Bear Survivor fan.
And you got a Christmas Bear Survivor fan. So,
Woohoo!
all right, take care, everybody. We will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Thanks, Nicola.
Yeah, thanks, Jackson. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
I don't have much to say about this most recent episode, but I will say that the Final Four that went on the reward could be a decent Final Four for me. With those four, I can see Nick possibly winning the game compared to Mike, Angelina, and Davy. It was great to see Christian's interaction with his loved one. I understand that Gabby needed to make a big move to get out of Christian's shadow, but it backfired on her. Even if the vote worked and Christian did leave the game, I feel like it would have been a little too late to make that big move, and I don't think she would have been rewarded for it. All right, thanks, Jack. Up next, we have an audio clip from Drew.
Drew and the crew.
Hey everyone, this is Drew and
Gabby and my car down Gabby.
And brown pretty dress with flowers, and Waffles is on my lap purring, purring, purring. And we have a quick feedback. We just watched the 2 challenges from this week, and Adelaide guessed. Babe, you guessed right. You thought Kara was going to win.
Yeah, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was up.
That's right. She guessed a bit right about the neighbors. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was up too. So she's had some good guessing lately. Charlie, did you like the challenges? Did you see them get dumped with water? And then you looked at the roster and you said, how come that guy doesn't have a beard? Christian didn't have his beard yet, which took his girlfriend by surprise. I will say the family visit was kind of so-so to me this season. I don't know. I kind of like when there's like a husband or wife situation. Boyfriend-girlfriend thing doesn't always get me quite as much. No, siblings, it's fine. And of course, I love a parent, a mom or a dad. I thought Christian and his girlfriend, is her name Emily? I thought they were the cutest. They're just so not TV, you know what I mean? They're just not TV, and that seems so refreshing. So, good challenges. Gabby, what can we say? You guys covered it great in the recap. The I'm so sorry Allison bit at the Tribal Council was just fantastic, especially in hindsight. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a good rundown to the finals here. I am liking Chris, Angelina, and Nick maybe as a final 3. I'd like to see Allison there, but I don't know that she can get there. Or Kara, she's just way too threatening. But I don't know, it's weird because I can see Mike there too, but I don't think they'd let him. I don't know. You know, this is the part where you start to second guess every single thing. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I did record feedback last week, and then I had it edited and everything, and I just forgot to send it. So yeah, I put it in the Facebook group because I know people are dying to hear rather. But yes, this week I'm going to send it for sure. And I mentioned last week, but since it didn't come through, I'll say that I think Angelina is kind of like what good Survivor villain should be. Like, she's pretty sneaky. I mean, she's not a great villain, but she's not super overt about it. She's not burning down the camp. She's not stealing stuff. She's just really clever, I think, in a way. I don't really get the Angelina hate. I don't know. She doesn't bother me that much. I think she's kind of fun to watch. You know, that bargaining was so. But a great week. Looking forward to the feedback and next week and see what happens. It's going to be a good one. Winner of the week is Christian because the guy is scrappy. Loser of the week is Gabby because, you know, it was a big move. But I think if she stuck with Christian for 1 or 2 more votes, she could have done a lot bigger stuff. And if she had kind of manipulated him, she could have spun some story about how she was controlling all that stuff. You do have lots of bows in your hair. That's right. I think probably 10 or 15 clips and bows. So she did her hair this morning. Well, I did it. Anyway, okay, we're going off. That's all for today. We're going to watch some Saturday morning cartoons, get a little workout in. Oh, one more thing. I'm participating in this dead hang challenge. And if anyone doesn't know what a dead hang is, you just hold on to a pull-up bar or anything really and just hang with your full body weight for as long as you can. And basically, I'm pretty sure this is preparing me for the eventuality that I'm a survivor. So that's pretty exciting. Every time I do these, and they're miserable and insane, I just imagine that I'm fighting for immunity and helping push through 10 or 15 more seconds. So anyway, everyone have a great weekend. Do you guys have anything else to say? Okay, should we say bye all together? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Bye! Stop!
I like the stop at the end. Oh, good job, everybody. Excellent. And good luck with your dead hang challenge.
Yeah.
Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana. That was awesome. Oh my goodness. I thought I would play bold, as Stacy says, this week in JSFL. And so I had Kara going home, and I had Nick and Christian and Mike and Angelina safe. because I thought, based on the previews and everything, we're led to believe that everyone is targeting Christian, which happened, and it was amazing when he played his idol. But I thought that Nick would then play his idol, and we'd have a no votes tribal council, and then somehow it would all go back to Kara, and she'd go home. I don't know. It made sense, just because she's like, has a relationship with everybody, and I feel like she has a lot of friends on the jury, so if they don't get out Kara soon, she may be a dark horse and win, actually. So you got the loved ones visit, and that was cool. That was hilarious when Angelina goes, "Oh, and Mom, yesterday I gave up immunity to give everybody more rice." Oh my goodness. Christian and his girlfriend, they were cute. They were very awkward also. He's a comforter, and we've seen it all throughout the game, and it's not just for Gabby. He's comforted many people in this game so far. He even kind of comforted Alec last week when he was on the chopping block. It's just his role. I guess that was a revelation to Gabby. Like, that wasn't just me, it was a super fast-paced episode. Even the previous on Survivor, Jeff's just like, they voted off of David, and these people are mad. All right, to the episode. You're just like, okay, well, thanks, Jeff. Next episode, it looks like insanity, as you can expect. Everybody's going for everybody, so that should be really fun. The last episode before the finale, so expect craziness. I'm really looking forward to the finale, especially if Christian's there, because that would be awesome. Oh, and it would be so cool if Christian won the fire-making challenge. It would be even better if Christian won the fire-making challenge against someone who was on the Goliath tribe. Like, that would be amazing. Jeff would be so happy with that. He's just like, yes, I knew this idea wasn't a dud. Everything's so up in the air, and everybody has an alliance with everybody. I feel like this is a really tight group. It's also a really shattered group. So it's just such a fascinating narrative, and these are always the best kind of seasons. When you go into the finale, you're at the penultimate episode, you go into the finale, and you don't know exactly who's going to win. Like last season, we pretty much knew it was either going to be Dom or Wendell winning. It's great, and I can't wait for next episode. So I will see you guys next time.
All right, thanks, Parker. Good job, bud. Next up, we got an email from Josh, the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanna and Stacy, another episode, another strong challenge, another blindside. What a season! Here's hoping that the final episodes live up to the promise of what we've seen so far. This week's other observations, in Nick's mind, once you cross the Mason-Dixon line, there's no going back. Angelina telling her mom about the rice reminded our family of a toddler proudly pointing out their poopies during potty training. Nick's father is twice the man he'll ever be. Literally. When Davy's mom talked about him bringing home snakes and frogs, it gave me an earworm. Jim Stafford's Spiders and Snakes. Yeah, I love that song. You've heard of a work wife? It turns out Christian was Gabby's island mom. That's good. I'm not a fan of the paired loved ones challenge. It really diffused the drama blame usually directed at the winner by those not chosen. With the picket fence, AstroTurf, and loved ones, I guess you could say the reward was a backyard barbecue. Barbecue. Oh. The reward site could have become the Final Four barge, but Davy wasn't on board with it. Gabby had it slightly wrong. For her, it was go big and go home. In the immunity challenge, with one foot in front of the other and an arm raised awkwardly out front, the contestants looked like ancient Egyptian statues. Allison worried that Christian would pull something from his hat. He didn't. It came from his shoe. Someone needs to explain to Gabby that the only time a player may want someone else to win is in a blood versus water season. Gabby's plan A turned her into Angelina and Mike's plan B. When Carl came out glaring, I had flashbacks to Lex joining the jury on All Stars. The only thing missing was the mohawk. Gabby needs reassurance. Duh. Allison had it wrong with his dimples and smile. Jeff is more of a grin reaper. Get it? Grin reaper?
I get it.
I know, I just had to do that because it was such a bad one. Christian, it seemed like it needed to get it after it. Christian put his best foot forward and socked it to Gabby. You're the guy who posts all those dad jokes on Reddit, aren't you? I know that's you. When Christian was staring everyone down at Tribal, was he wearing X-ray specs? Gabby made a big move, straight to Ponderosa. Next time it's Spy versus Spy and everyone's on the chopping block. Is anyone safe? Anyway, that's it for me for now. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thank you, Josh. Next up, we got a call from Rodney.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans everywhere. It's Rodney from Illinois. I know it's been a while since I've called. I've been super busy, and my nurse practitioner classes are really kicking my butt. But I am enjoying this season. The season is fantastic. I think it goes to say a lot about the season, the unpredictability and the lack of people getting, all the vote-off points correct week after week after week. I think the editing is tremendous. Going forward, I think that I can't see Christian not going. Like you guys said, it just doesn't make sense. He's been the number one target forever. Why would you sleep on him? But I said Ben Driebergen would never make it to the finals, so I discounted him. Maybe Christian's going to pull out that, he shouldn't make it there, but they let him make it there, and he gets to win final Tribal. But I hope actually that he doesn't, because I'd rather see someone like Nick or Allison win at the end. I still am pulling for Allison, my UFC. I think that she has her ups and downs, and she's been getting enough screen time, and she's got enough of a story right now behind her showing that maybe she does deserve to win. But it's hard to say. Like I said before, the predictability of the season is ridiculous, because it has been a fantastic season. I do think that this week they included too many people in on the plan. Too many people were in on the plan to get rid of Christian when they knew Christian had an idol. If you're going after somebody with an idol, you just get the minimum number of people you need to get rid of them, and you don't tell anybody else. But they got all fancy and cocky with it, and they all went after Christian, and Gabby paid the price for her hubris. Anyway, thanks for all that you guys do. Have a great week.
Thanks, Rodney. Glad you were able to make some time to share your feedback this week. Next up, we got a call from Kim.
This is Kim from Raleigh with my Week 11 feedback. Epic fail on Gabby's part, and also Christian the last 2 weeks. I agree with Nick that voting out of David when they voted out Carl helps more Goliaths than David's. By going along with the Carl vote, Christian blew his game and possibly Nick and Davy's game. In fact, it seems to me that the key to winning for anyone is a final 3 without Nick and Davy, and that could be an easy job for the remaining Goliaths. Angelina, Nick, Mike, and Davy is a great final 4 for Nick. Gabby's play to beat Christian did. I think it will defeat him even if it takes until the final 3 to do it, even though he survived this vote off. Mike. He is stuck to the numbers with Goliath, except for the Alec vote, which was unanimous anyway. He can get possible credit for Carl and Gabby votes and regaining the numbers for the Goliath. Good chance to win. Allison. No implementation of a plan. Unless she gets credit for the Carl and Gabby votes, which I don't think she will. Not much chance to win. Angelina. She thought deeply about it and then chose to reveal that she made a deal with Nick while they were at reward by coaching him at immunity. Sometimes she has a good strategy, but the implementation negates it. Did I steal that line from you, Stacy? I'm sorry if I did. It sounds kind of familiar. But at least Angelina's been playing. Some chance to win. Kara. She can probably take credit for getting rid of Dan, but we haven't seen that much strategy out of her where she's the leader. If she listened at immunity, she will work with the Davids to get rid of Mike, then get rid of Nick and Davy. I think she's got a decent chance to win. Nick. I would want him out. He's got the best game so far. He can blame the Carl disaster on Gabby and Christian. He's got a good chance to win now. It would have been a strong chance without Christian and Gabby messing up. Christian played a good game until he voted Carl off and blew it with Nick, Davy, and Carl. I think I'm going to write him off as a possible winner. Davy, I think he's strong. He's always working to get the idols and advantages, and it's worked out that they've played him really well. His strong chance also fell to a good chance with the Carl vote. As always, predictions on Survivor are very difficult, almost as difficult as predicting winter weather in Raleigh. Everybody have a great week.
All right. Thanks, Kim. Enjoyed those predictions. Next up, we got an email from Ed in Milwaukee.
Joanne and Stacy, below is my analysis of another great episode in a great season. Gabby's exit was not a blindside, but rather it is a case of Gabby being collateral damage from the failed attempt to blindside Christian. Christian's goal was to eliminate Allison, Everyone else except Davy wanted to vote Christian out, but they all knew that Christian had an idol, therefore Angelina and Mike voted for Gabby as the backup vote. I believe it was in Gabby's best interest to try to eliminate Christian now rather than wait a few days. Christian is the most dangerous person in the game, and this was the best time to try and blindside him. She probably realized that even if Christian played the idol would be flushed and it would be easier to vote Christian out later in the game. The only flaw in Gabby's strategy this week is that she never anticipated that she would be the fallback vote. I also support Gabby disclosing her plans to everyone else. As noted before, everyone knows that Christian is the man to beat. Gabby's willingness to take the lead is important because everyone knew of Gabby's alliance with Christian, yet her willingness to flip gave the others the confidence to follow. Having almost unanimous support to vote out Christian provided enough extra votes for a backup exit by splitting the vote. Compare Gabby's action at this point in the game to Laurel last season. Laurel never tried to pull the trigger to attempt to get Dom or Wendell out of the game. I believe it is better to go big or go home now rather than stick around to the end with no chance of winning. The remaining 7 players are probably the strongest final 7 in the history of the game, but I believe that Christian, Nick, and Davy are playing head and shoulders above the others. To use an analogy to pro football, Christian, Nick, and Davy are playing like superstars, such as a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Brees, whereas Allison, Mike, and Kara are playing like an experienced, unspectacular quarterback who is capable of winning, such as Kirk Cousins. Angelina is playing like a talented and knowledgeable quarterback, but she continues to fumble and throw interceptions. The best moves this week were made by Davy. He realized that he needed Christian as a meat shield and tipped Christian off on the plots against him, but he also voted for Christian. This allows Davy to maintain his facade as being a part of the Final Four alliance with Nick, Mike, and Angelina that was created at the Family Challenge. Good point.
Yeah, I like that.
The one thing about the meat shield is that it is not clear to me that Davy or anyone else who used the meat shield strategy has ever articulated an approach as to when the meat shield should be eliminated. Finally, although the Goliaths now outnumber the Davids, I do believe that, to quote a previous episode, the tribal lines have dissolved. I expect the former Goliaths to work to get Christian, Nick, and Davy out of the game, but this will not be because of tribal loyalties, but rather that these 3 are the biggest threats. All right, thanks, Ed. That was a very good analysis.
Yeah. Up next, we got a call from Cameron.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy, this is Cameron calling in with this week's listener's feedback. Man, I was really upset I forgot to call in last week. I don't know how, it just completely slipped my mind. And I had some great notes taken too for that 2-hour episode, so I'm sorry I did not get it in. Moving on. I think I am pretty glad to see Gabby go. I was not a fan of hers. I was especially not a fan of hers on how she was trying to play Christian this week. That was just complete disloyalty. So, good riddance to her. Nick said it pretty perfectly regarding Carl's exit. When talking about Christian and Gabby, he said, they're so smart that they're dumb. They were just overthinking it so much, and Gabby just seemed to call him the Godfather all the time. But what was the reasoning? I mean, he wasn't making all the calls. He called Elizabeth to go, but I can't say he did that much more. Christian following her, as we see now, was not a great option. So I was actually at home and I was able to watch it with my mom this week. And she brought up the point that why wasn't Christian hugging his girlfriend? And I think Jeff even brought it up too. Christian is not very good at showing affection, but he definitely has a happy relationship with his girlfriend, so good for him. So the 4 people that went on the reward, Mike, Angelina, Nick, and Davy, I don't know why I'm forgetting now, I'm pretty sure that was it. But they were saying this should be the final 4. Is that true? I'm thinking, I mean, I feel like a lot of times we see people go on rewards and they'll say, oh yeah, we're the final 4 now. Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is it right here. Even last season, I mean, they went with Donathan, and then Donathan's on. It's like, oh yeah, you better take him. I don't know if that'll be the final 4. I think everyone that went on the reward has a pretty good shot at, taking it all the way, but they weren't really working together that much. I guess Nick and Mike were, but definitely not Angelina. So Gabby, why was she calling Christian fake? I mean, Christian's not fake. He's just awkward. She has a little bit of jealousy, I think, in my mind, when she saw him with his girlfriend. She was like, well, does he treat me that way? I mean, come on, it's a game, Gabby. Kind of random, but I've gotten, for how bad I've been doing in JSFL, I've actually been doing pretty good in predicting who's going to win the immunity challenges. I feel like minutes before it actually ends, I can just look and see who's left and say, oh, they're going to win. I did that with Kara, and I saw her, and she wound up winning, so good for me, I guess. Yeah, well, good riddance to Gabby. I mean, when she turned to Allison and said, I'm sorry, I was like, really? Allison's going home? I don't think so. Christian, he's a genius. Kim told me she thinks he's special, all right. I mean, he just looked at faces. He's like, wait, Jeff. And he was able to pull off the idol play perfectly. Good for him. Next time on Survivor, just looks like a lot of mess to me. But if there's two people I can say are safe, I think it looks like Mike and Kara are going to be safe. All right, well, only a couple episodes left. It's been a great season so far. Let's hope it's going to be a great rest of it. I will see you all next week. Hope to hear some great feedback.
Thanks, Cameron. In the extra videos, the 3 out of the 4, I mean, Davey had reservations that were even in the episode, but three out of the 4 there were pretty positive about that being a reasonable Final Four for them, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they all said
it was just Davey.
Yeah, but Angelina, Nick, and Mike, they're all good with it, so I think they were pretty serious about that. And I think the Christian thing was, he owes Davey so much credit for being able to do that, and that was just him mugging at the end. If Davey hadn't given him the heads up, I don't think he would have picked up on it. I just don't have a sense that he had that clued in.
No, I think he would have,
even though he was getting other indicators. Yeah, it seems likely.
And because I think he trusted Gabby so much.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Thanks again, Cameron. Next up, we got an email from LeAnn in California. Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor fans. My USB Gabby is gone, and I did not see that coming. Although I also didn't have her safe, so I must have had an inkling. I'm okay with it since she wasn't going to win the game, and I'm excited to see the remaining players fight it out. I have a behind-the-scenes question. When the loved ones are flown in, they obviously sign NDAs to not say anything about who's left in the game, but back home there must be questions about whose mother or husband or sister did or did not take a sudden flight out of the country, and from that information they can figure out who has made it far in the game. So it seems like they would have to have all the players' loved ones take a trip around the time of the loved one's visit. Are the loved ones of the early out players flown to LA or somewhere cheaper than Fiji and just spend a few days hanging out together by the pool? I'm sure you have some info on how this works. I don't know that we've ever specifically heard anything on that.
No, I've always thought that, no, just so many people went out. They have to send a couple of extras because it takes too long to get them there, so they send whoever's in the game at that time.
Right.
But
so,
they have
for
to go ahead
example,
and fly them out.
Alec and Carl's loved ones also went out there.
That's why Alec and Carl got to see their loved ones at Ponderosa, is because they didn't know who was going to go out, so they had to send everybody left in the game, bring their loved ones out.
But when the loved ones travel, I guess the flip side of this is the cast isn't known.
Yeah, nobody knows.
It's not specific, at least generally it's not.
Yeah, it's not public, in other words.
Yeah, it's definitely not public. But there have been leaks that show up, I think, in the May time frame, that kind of thing. So you could work backwards, but I don't think at the time of the trip that you would have been able to necessarily. The chances that someone are going to notice is pretty low. And yeah, I think the family members, not only the ones that travel, but the ones that send letters, everybody has to sign NDAs associated with that could put the whatever winnings that are provided in jeopardy, if not actual criminal court proceedings.
Well, they may have everyone's family do letters from the beginning. And
because that's planned pretty early on.
Yeah. So I think everyone's loved ones probably do send letters out there. I don't think that's specific. And then they just give them to whoever.
Point being that they have the NDAs in place early on.
Before anybody ever goes.
Yeah, so I think it's more of being able to keep it a secret who's actually in that cast while they're filming. There have been some leaks, I think, in the past. Some photos or something like that have gotten out, and I think that actually got someone. I think that got someone kicked off. Was it last year for leaking something too soon? So they called an alternate in.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, you probably did at the time and just forgot it. All right, thanks for the question. Thanks, LeAnn. Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh. And Joanne, it was good to hear your voice today. By the way, I listen to your podcast when I'm walking my dogs in the morning, so that sometimes keeps me going a little bit longer. So it was good to hear you two talking the other day. I've been thinking about this season and last. Ghost Island had such an intriguing concept, but it turned out to be such a dud. We ended up with players without much of a personality or much of a strategy. It seemed that week after week we were watching the Dom and Wendell show, and Laura was making plans but not making moves. So when I heard about this season's theme, it didn't really appeal to me. But they never had to emphasize the theme since we have such compelling characters. Even when a major character leaves, like Napon Natalie, there's another player conniving and plotting to take over her place. So a few things about this week's episode. I still think it was a mistake for Gabby and Christian to take out Carl. The short-term results were that it cost the Davids a number and alienated Nick and Davey. And after everything Nick and Carl and Davey did to keep their alliance numbers, Gabby just dismissed it and Christian meekly followed. So I think that set in play the downfall of Christian, which would have been this week, except for that pesky, not-so-hidden idol in the shoe. About the family visit, I think Stacy said Gabby might have shown some jealousy on seeing Christian with his girlfriend, but I think it was more game-related. She'd seen Christian as her protector in the game and then saw how easily he could do the same for Allison, and now he's the protector of his girlfriend. So I think she wasn't sure how the jury would judge her also. Like, did she make moves in her own right, or was she riding on Christian's coattails? So she decided to play big and risk everything. If she had been successful, we and the jury would now see her as a major player instead of a Laurel. Oh, and about the lack of PDA between Christian and his girlfriend and Mike and his boyfriend. After all, we've seen some amorous reunions where Jeff must have been anxiously ready to block the cameras. I think in Christian and Mike's cases, though, they're always aware of the camera and how they're perceived at home and by the teammates. I've been with my partner, now my husband, for 37 years, and I'm still not comfortable with public displays of affection. And every so often we'll meet somebody for the first time, and later on they'll ask one of us, "Are you two brothers?" Well, no, but we'd play that for $1 million. It amazes me. We've been watching Survivor these, 18 years, and it's still exciting. And your podcast is the icing on the cake, or in this case, the cheese on the nacho. Talk to you next week. Bye.
All right.
That's good, David.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing that, too. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here, and I am loving this season because 3 Point Paul is still on a roll, so take any observations I make here with a grain of salt. Let's start off with that challenge when Nick got help from the girls, but no one would tell Christian how he was doing. Well then, that should have set off some warning bells because that was pretty bad, and Gabby should have just kept her mouth shut rather than making up that lame excuse about how the help they gave to Nick was obvious. You know, no comment is always better than a stupid comment. Which brings me to Gabby. Yep, after seeing it play out, I do believe that it was jealousy that guided Gabby in this episode. I honestly think she was okay with Christian's interaction with his girlfriend, but then after watching Christian and Cara interact so personally, or rather so personably, well, Gabby didn't like that at all. Sadly, Gabby's newfound strength allowed her to make good moves at bad times. Davey understands timing, and that's why he fixed his game by saving Christian this week. Sadly, though, Angelina and Mike planned ahead and still managed to get another David out of the lineup, and that's great gameplay as well. And did anyone else feel that Gabby actually looked relieved when Christian played his idol, and it looked like they'd still be together? Me? I'm happy, Allison. But it was interesting that we got to see Allison make fire this episode. Will that come up later on, I wonder? Interesting indeed, because she did it with ease. And then when Christian was told that Nick was gunning for him, Christian tried to defuse the situation in the best way possible, by apologizing. But Nick knew what he was doing. Christian has been branded as a brain by everyone out there, and by everyone watching as well. But Nick's no slouch himself, which brings me to something I noticed in this episode. Christian's intelligence really works in his favor when he's an underdog, but when he's the top dog, he sort of comes across as sounding a little bit, condescending maybe? That's not quite the word I'm looking for, but it's close. I mean, even though he literally apologized, the words he surrounded the I'm sorry with ruined the apology to me. There was no heart in it. The tone was off. It was an apology wrapped in multi-syllable words, which sounded, to me, like an educated man trying to sound sincere, even though I know he was trying to be sincere. It's just something he can't control, and I can see it hurting him later on. And I know that I didn't explain that well, but I feel that Christian's strengths play strongest when he's outnumbered. Otherwise, those words of his come off as a liability. So in the end, I feel this whole episode was damage control from the bad vote that Gabby orchestrated, or demanded, last week. I wish Christian had stuck to his guns in that last vote, because that was the true turning point of the game. I hope Gabby's proud. And nope, I'm not even going to guess who goes next. I wouldn't want to steer anyone in the wrong direction. Bye now.
All right, 3-point Paul. Good job.
Well, I'm 3-point Joanne,
yeah,
too.
Me too. We can commiserate together, huh? Good stuff. Where do you think we're going next with this?
Man, I just can't believe they would go anywhere but after Christian. That if he doesn't find another idol and he doesn't win immunity,
goose is cooked.
Surely he goes.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Kara was so sure she
imagine.
was going to get him this time. Third time was the charm, huh? Because she had gone after him twice before and failed.
Yeah.
You think they're going to have some fatigue?
Third time wasn't the charm.
No. Maybe they'll have Christian fatigue, and so they'll pivot to some
maybe
new
some
target.
of them would just go, well, if you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think they're still going to try till they get him.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone there really believes that Christian can beat them, why wouldn't they continue doing their best to get him out? Because that's a big coup.
You don't want to face that question at final tribal council, right?
No.
He would have to have won his way into that position.
And every time he gets one over on him and stays, then that's just more for his resume. Looks better and better.
It is, but it's also a story for Davey too. Davey really has saved him twice, and I think Davey can trump Christian's story. I'm not sure what the compelling social element is with Christian. They don't show me enough as a viewer to see it. I see lots of mugging and over-the-top, stuff, which is good. It's good TV. It totally works. And when you're trying to spin a story, which you do have to spin some of your own story, you got to pump yourself up some.
Even
It's
Carol
good for
was
him to
talking
do
about how likable he was.
Right? And she said it before. Yeah, that's exactly why she started targeting him from the get-go. Well, what about Mike? His prediction is so he was wrong about Davey and Carl because they did have a coup, and he was wrong about Gabby because she did have people follow her into battle. Mm-hmm. So do you think, because he's been wrong about most things, the only good thing I heard in the extra videos was he realized and acknowledged that both he and Nick had gone against each other, and they were both okay with it. And I think Nick did that too.
They felt like they were even now.
So they may team back up. If that's the case, there's hope for Mike.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Mike could easily...
Or maybe hope for Nick.
Mike could easily be discarded, or you could take him along, because his story is a story of failure. His plans fail.
I still think he's a big,
and he wouldn't
danger.
He wouldn't have the Gabby notch on his belt had it not been for Nick. So Mike really needs to get rid of Nick to have any kind of a story, I think.
Yeah, but, everybody says also about Mike, he's very likable. Everybody likes him. Mm-hmm. Everybody thinks he's on their side. He's doing very well at managing people.
Even though he tells them at times, all those bad things I said about you, I didn't mean them. Even though we hate each other, we can still work together on this vote.
I think they all saw that as humorous.
Which is him saying, yeah, I hate you.
But anyway, and I never dreamed Kara would get this far.
No, she's a big surprise. Davey is a huge surprise, but Davy is playing at a level that's way beyond most of the people who are still here.
I'm not sure anybody's looking at Davy as a threat.
He's worried about it, but it doesn't seem like he comes up that often, right, in the conversations. He doesn't get mentioned in extra videos.
Yeah, if they are looking at him that way, they're not showing us.
Right.
So, but I still like Mike, Nick, and Christian, though I will not be surprised to see Angelina, even Davy, sitting in the final three. You know, if they go with Mike.
Angelina's a goat. So taking her is your classic goat strategy. This is someone who won't give votes, so it's good to take her with you. Now she'll effectively embarrass herself. She'll get up at the end and say she did all these things and provided rice, and then she'll get dismissed, and maybe they won't even have questions, or someone may be blunt with her and tell her how ineffective she was in the total scheme of things. But I don't see her unless something happens, and there's a lot can happen between now and the final tribal council. That's what's exciting. So there's still time and opportunity for her. I remember being really impressed with her in the beginning. So it's not a total negative story, but at that pivot point when Allison called her out for trying to do jury management so early with the Elizabeth vote out, it's just been further and further downhill for her. And and the Natalie, the jacket gate thing with Natalie, and trying to get Lyrsa's jacket, trying to get Nick to get Lyrsa's jacket, using Natalie to strong arm Nick, and Angelina was behind all that. So this negativity against her has been building a long time.
Well, she was even one of my options for
we both had her as potential Final Four, right?
Yeah. And a potential
before the season
choice
started.
for winners.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying she can't get to the final three. I think that's possible. I think there's a lot of strategies that consider bringing her for sure because she's a goat, not to get the vote.
But from what we've seen so far in the extra clips and all that, they really seem to be so focused on getting Allison and Christian out that they don't seem to be looking at the other people much at all. They're just single-minded on getting those two out.
With the exception this week of the talk about taking Nick down.
Well, yeah.
Which we still kind of think's a red herring.
Yeah. So I am probably going to choose Christian unless, we see a commercial of the challenge or something, and I think it's something he could win.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't imagine they wouldn't still try to get him out.
Yeah, you don't want, if you see so many people talking about how that person's a social threat, you don't want them sitting there at the end.
Mm-mm.
Yep, which is the same reason I get rid of Kara, too.
Yeah, she seems to just be under the radar. Her and Davey both seem to and even Mike to some degree.
Yeah.
Just kind of under the radar.
Well, I think she changed that a little bit with winning individual immunity.
True.
And likewise with Davey, although it didn't seem to be coming back on him right now.
Yep.
Certainly a notch in his belt. I loved his extra video. It wasn't anything with the game, but where he's talking about how he was the sole survivor now, the SOUL survivor.
Yeah,
that was
SOUL
good.
survivor.
That one's good. Good to watch for sure. And the videos this week are all on the YouTube channel, all on Survivor CBS.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their strategy is with having them and then not having them. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Especially with, even though we pay for that all access, we can't always play them from the stupid app that's a piece of crap.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, yeah, well, it's just such a mixed bag there.
Oh, okay.
And we enjoy we enjoy getting to see the extras have been really good this season. Just everything's been good this season. Yeah. Good cast.
Still a great season.
Well, the casting group just deserves kudos for this group. So even the ones that went out early, I enjoyed for their novelty, I guess, and speculating on their ability. Anything else?
I don't think so. Did you think they were still going to go after Christian? Is that your next vote off choice?
I'm not clear because both Nick and Christian need to go.
They're both threats.
So yeah, absolutely. It just depends on whether or not Davey's going to save one of them again.
Even though
Nick's not going anywhere. Nick seems to be savvy enough that he's got an idol. So go ahead.
Even though Christian is my USB. I'm really kind of cheering for Nick now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more so.
Yeah, I just like him more and more. Not that I dislike the others, but
my front runner favorite's probably Davey right now.
Yeah. Oh.
Because I really like his enjoyment.
Yeah. And he is having fun.
He is, and he's self-aware, and he's got the total package going right now. It seems like he's a real underdog, right? Because he's still got Nick, but it doesn't seem like he's got the alliances. He's more counting on the voting blocks and jumping in which is just a definition of a short-term alliance, I guess. But jumping in with whatever makes sense at each vote, especially with these folks. But he's just having a blast because he realizes everybody's playing at such a high level, and it's just got him tickled to be a part of all that.
Right.
He's ecstatic. Same as Nick. Nick's got really good awareness too. I liked in the extra video that Christian recognized from some of the things that Nick shared how important the differences were. Like he said, "Oh, thank you, Nick, for sharing the fact that you had a day one alliance with Davey, or an agreement with Davey to go out on the family visit."
Did not know that.
What other alliances do you have that I wasn't aware of?
So our alliance wasn't the only one.
I'm not special. Yeah, Christian had a wake-up call like Gabby too. Yeah. Yep, he finally realized that, which you should always do that. There's nothing unique or special about you. You're all serving someone else's needs while you're out there.
Well, Christian could appeal to Davey and Nick, but they gave up the numbers. So where they really going to go? Christian and Gabby gave up the numbers.
Yeah.
So where are you really going to go with 3, and who else would even consider?
Angelina, she'll take any port in a storm at this point.
Well, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just whether she wants to go up against them or not, which she should know better.
I don't know. She probably doesn't.
Well,
Do you think you've played a good enough game and can go head-to-head with anyone?
You think she's at that point, though? Is she self-deluded to that extreme?
I think she thinks she has,
but Mom,
that she could go against anyone.
I gave up immunity
After
for
all,
Rice.
she did give up immunity for
Look,
Rice.
I made a poopy.
Yes, so, okay. Alrighty.
Good deal. Hey, we want to thank everybody who took the time to write in and call in and record. And I know some of you record and record again and edit yourself over and over. We appreciate all that effort. Good job. Thanks for sharing your predictions with us this week. We love hearing how you felt about the episode and what your thoughts are about what's headed our way next.
And if you play JSFL, don't forget to make your picks. 4 safe picks, 1 vote out before the deadline of 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time on Wednesday.
Good deal. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.